She came to America seeking refuge from a war-torn nation.
She was able to get out of a very scary situation.
And in her new home, she met the love of her life.
They had a really close relationship. They were able to connect on the culture levels. They had a great relationship. She really loved him.
But when she's found dead in her apartment, the couple's love story turns into a tragedy.
She was strangled by a cord.
Earrings had been ripped out of her ears.
This is a very personal and intentional act of violence.
Had someone from her past come back to haunt her.
She felt like someone was stalking her.
She was receiving text messages from him threatening her.
There was this pattern of harassment.
Or was her true killer even closer to home?
You never really truly know who you're dealing with.
The problem is that your story doesn't make a lot of sense.
It was jealousy, it was anger.
People can do anything in a state of rage.
You have anything to say right after the court?
Thank you.
September 26, 2018. It's a typical Wednesday afternoon in Bristol Township, Pennsylvania, a quiet suburb located in the heart of the Mid-Atlantic states.
We're 20 minutes from Philadelphia, an hour from New York City. There's a lot to do in this area.
Bristol is a very small community where everybody knows each other.
You want to move to Bristol if you're looking for peace. You want to get out of the noise.
But today, there is no peace for Bristol Township resident Leslie Turner. Just before 7 p.m., she places an urgent call to Bucks County 911.
911, where's your emergency?
My friend Anna, she's unconscious in her apartment.
She said she was at an apartment complex in Bristol Township to check on her friend Anna Angok, but she was locked out.
I'm outside of the building. I can't even get in her apartment.
And how do you know she's unconscious?
Leslie explained that Anna's father had gotten a phone call from Anna's number saying that something had happened to her.
Her dad got a phone call from somebody that says, come get Anna, she's unconscious.
Since Anna's father lived a couple hours away, he'd asked Leslie to go check on her. But Leslie fears Anna may not be the only one in danger.
She has a baby, a 2-year-old baby. Oh my God.
Police raced to the scene.
Our patrol officers were dispatched, and at that time, they had the dispatchers call for maintenance to unlock the door.
When police were able to get into the apartment, they found Anna in the area of a sofa.
She was unresponsive.
Her 2-year-old daughter was seated in a chair right next to her.
First responders immediately jump into action.
They were able to determine that the child was unharmed, and they were quickly able to get her out of there.
But Anna isn't so lucky.
Officers made the determination that Anna Angok was deceased.
29-year-old single mother Anna Angok had the tenacity and determination of someone much older.
Anna was a survivor. She was spirited, she was smart, she was courageous.
Her family and friends described her more as, the hardworking type, resilient.
She showed me, us small people, we have a lot of strength.
Among her friends, it was no secret where Anna's strength came from.
Anna had come to the United States as a young teenager from the war-torn country of Sudan.
She was alienated from her biological family. She had one brother who went to Australia, and then she had another brother that was in the Midwest.
But to literally flee a country without your family must have been extremely hard.
There's no doubt that Anna was the type of young woman who was willing to work to have a better future.
She had become a medical assistant, and that was part of her caring nature and part of her drive to give back.
On the job, Anna always went above and beyond.
She was like 90, 100 pounds, soaking wet. And the patient that I was assigning her to was a little bit on the heavier side. So I was like, are you sure that you will be able to work this patient? And she's like, I am stronger than I look. Her and that patient had a great relationship. She really loved her.
But there was nobody Anna loved more than her 2-year-old daughter.
She was raising her daughter on her own.
She was determined to raise her daughter with the opportunities she never had.
You want better for your children. You don't want them to go through what you went through.
As busy as Anna kept herself, she didn't have much time for love. But that all changed in April of 2018 when she met 27-year-old Jaleel Loper at a local bus stop.
They met coming home from work one day.
I see you here all the time, and I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Jaleel.
Anna.
Jaleel worked one town over from where Anna lived.
He was a confident and charming guy, and Anna quickly realized it was someone she had a lot in common with.
He was responsible, he had a good job.
The chemistry between the pair was undeniable, but Anna did have some reservations.
Anna was reluctant to get close to Jaleel because of the way her ex-boyfriend reacted to her having a 2-year-old.
Anna's ex hadn't shown any interest in having a relationship with her daughter, but Jaleel was different.
I have a daughter.
Oh, you have a daughter?
When Anna opened up to him about her daughter, it didn't bother him at all.
I love kids.
By the end of the summer, Anna and Jaleel were in a committed relationship.
They were talking about living together. He was genuinely somebody that she could see herself with for a long time.
After being separated from her family at such a young age, Anna was excited about the idea of building a family of her own.
She had her whole life ahead of her.
But now, Anna's lifeless body has been found inside her apartment, and first responders are puzzled as to why.
There were no gunshots, there were no stab wounds. Police didn't know what happened.
The officers on scene believed it may have been drug overdose.
But when detectives arrive, they quickly rule that theory out.
There was no indication of any drugs around. The apartment was very clean, very well kept. The child looked very well cared for.
And a closer look at Anna's body reveals that her death was no accident.
A couple things didn't look right. There were a couple earrings with blood on them on the floor, like they had been ripped out of her ears.
But that's not all.
When I examined her, you could see a slight ligature on her neck.
She was strangled.
It was a homicide.
After years of struggling as a single mom, Anna Angok found love with her new boyfriend, Jaleel Loper.
They were both hard workers and they were both invested in Anna's daughter. They started making plans to move in together and start their own family.
But now police have found Anna strangled to death inside her apartment.
It was such a tragic situation. When I heard about it, I cried because I couldn't imagine that happening.
Detectives hope that Anna's cell phone might provide some clues as to who killed her.
It was plugged in charging.
But since the device is locked with a passcode, it's going to take the police some time to get access.
While the phone is sent out for testing, investigators start combing through Anna's apartment.
They were trying to figure out how this murderer even got into the apartment to commit the crime.
There's no forced entry into the door.
A fact which implies that Anna may have willingly let her killer inside.
So over a dozen years of covering crime, murders, and assaults, most of the time, they're not random. Most crime is interpersonal.
This wasn't random. This was done by someone Anna trusted enough to let into her home.
If you're gonna kill someone with strangulation, it's a lot more personal. You have to be on top of them, and your body is in contact with them.
Who could have been angry enough with Anna to end her life so brutally? Police wonder if her daughter could be the key to answering that question.
Anna's daughter witnessed her mother being killed right in front of her.
But at just 2 years old, she can barely speak, let alone identify her mother's killer.
It had to be, one of the most traumatic experiences that you could ever have a child go through.
So detectives are hoping Anna's friend, Leslie Turner, can provide more insight.
When they told her Anna was dead, she was in complete shock.
I can't believe it. I just dropped her off at home a few hours ago.
Detectives ask Leslie if she can tell them more about the call she received from Anna's father.
The foster father of the victim, he had received a call saying Anna needs help.
So he called Leslie, who lives close by.
He told her something was wrong and she had to get to the apartment.
He said he got a call from Anna's ID on his phone. When he answered it, it was a man's voice on the line.
But if Anna didn't place the call, who did?
The killer would have been the only person to have access to Anna's phone during this time, so maybe they were feeling some sort of guilt or wanted to get help for Anna's daughter.
Since the killer used Anna's phone, they have no way to trace his identity.
And that's why he used that cell phone, not anybody else's cell phone.
However, detectives soon discover that the call to Anna's father may not have been the only call her killer made.
While interviewing Leslie, detectives received word from a Bristol Township police officer who had responded to Anna's apartment complex shortly before her body was found.
So on September 26th at about 6 p.m., Bucks County 911 received a call for help from the apartment complex.
911, where is the emergency?
All those apartments, please, hurry.
The caller wouldn't provide his name, but he did give them Anna's apartment number.
Police showed up and they looked around. They didn't find anything immediately out of the ordinary, so they left.
It was an anonymous call from a deactivated cell phone, which essentially means it's a cell phone that's not on a network, but any cell phone, as long as you still have battery power, you can still call 911 on it.
Thank you, officer.
Detectives suspect that this call was also placed by Anna's killer. And when they ask Leslie if she has any idea who that could be, she doesn't hold back.
That's when we learned that Anna was being stalked.
Anna was getting all of these anonymous text messages. There were hundreds of them.
Some were threatening to hurt her, and it was just making her a little unnerving.
Obviously, something like this would freak anyone out.
Leslie believed it was Anna's ex-boyfriend, a guy named Isaiah Bradley.
Over 15% of women in the United States will be the target of a stalker at some point in their lifetime, making it one of the most common crimes they can experience. According to the Centers for Disease Control, over 60% of stalking survivors report being harassed by a current or former intimate partner. Detectives investigating the murder of Anna Angok have just learned that she believed her ex-boyfriend, Isaiah Bradley, had been sending her threatening text messages.
Anna had filed police reports prior to her murder indicating that she believed she was being stalked.
Leslie said the messages that Anna had been receiving were extremely explicit and threatening.
Who is this from?
She was getting text messages to the extent of, "I'm gonna get you."
Some of the texts even mentioned Anna's current boyfriend, Jaleel Loper.
The text messages essentially said, "Not even your new boyfriend can protect you now."
But according to Leslie, Anna was never able to prove that Isaiah was sending the texts.
They were from numbers that weren't in her phone, so from unknown numbers.
The numbers were always different, but the messages were the same.
Anna believed that Isaiah may be sending these text messages, but she had no proof.
If it wasn't Isaiah, I don't know who it could be.
When you consider the text about Jaleel, it makes perfect sense that whoever was doing this was a romantic rival.
Don't worry, don't feel so.
The next morning, Anna's grieving foster father arrives in Bristol Township to speak with detectives, and he echoes Leslie's suspicions about Isaiah.
Anna's father knew Isaiah, knew that they had had problems in the past.
He was so controlling.
Isaiah was very traditional and kind of expected Anna to be somewhat subservient to him.
He seemed very, by all accounts, possessive of her.
Not to mention, Isaiah didn't like that Anna had a child from a previous relationship.
Anna wanted so badly for them to be a family, but Isaiah didn't want to accept Anna's daughter as his own. He didn't want to have any kind of relationship with her.
Why can't we focus on us? I am not interested in being someone else's dad right now.
Isaiah, she's my whole world. If you want me in your life, she's gonna be there too.
Her father said that Anna felt Isaiah almost seemed annoyed at the possibility of becoming a step-parent, so she just ended things.
I'm done.
A few months later, Anna began dating Jaleel. Was Isaiah jealous that she had moved on to another man?
Anna's father also believed that Isaiah may be sending these text messages.
Anna was a great person. She didn't seem to have any other enemies.
By the end of the first morning, we were targeting Isaiah. He was the main suspect at that point.
Later that day, detectives bring Isaiah Bradley in for questioning, and his demeanor gives them pause.
He was legitimately upset when, during the course of the interview, that he had learned that Anna had been killed.
But detectives aren't convinced Isaiah's reaction is genuine.
We know you didn't get along.
They start to lay out everything they've been learning about his relationship with Anna.
Despite their accusations, Isaiah steadfastly maintains his innocence.
You're right. She hated me, but I did not kill her.
Isaiah had denied knowing anything about the text messages. He claimed he never sent them. He said he didn't know how to contact her.
I don't even know where she lives. I don't even have a phone number anymore. Look.
And he essentially said, I didn't do that. I don't know what you're talking about. He gave us his phone.
Isaiah says he didn't even know Anna was seeing a new man. But is he telling the truth?
We extracted all the data from his cell phone, all his apps, all his texting, everything.
When the results come in, it's the last thing the detectives expected to see.
There was nothing on his cell phone that would link him to the numbers that we had gotten from Anna's cell phone. And there was no indication that they had been recently deleted.
By all indications, Isaiah is telling the truth.
There's no evidence whatsoever on Isaiah's phone to link him to any recent contact with Anna.
While detectives find themselves back at square one, Anna's loved ones are only beginning to grapple with the reality of their loss.
The news of Anna's passing, it really affected us. It's just tough to know that something like this could happen to someone so innocent in life.
Detectives are more determined than ever to get to the bottom of what happened to Anna. And when they receive the results of her autopsy, it verifies their initial suspicions.
The findings confirmed that she had a strangulation death, and more than likely a small ligature was used.
But it also adds more tragedy to the case.
Anna Angok, at the time of her death, was pregnant with a boy.
That makes this a double homicide.
24 hours into their murder investigation, Bristol Township detectives have just learned that 29-year-old Anna Angok was pregnant when she was strangled to death in her apartment.
She was pregnant with a boy, and she was 5 to 6 weeks along.
That raises all sorts of questions for the investigation. Who was the father, and did the pregnancy have something to do with her murder?
Police have already cleared Anna's ex-boyfriend, Isaiah Bradley. Now, they want to speak to her new flame, Jaleel Loper.
It seemed likely that Jaleel was the father of Anna's unborn child, which gives him a possible motive.
But before they bring Jaleel in for questioning, investigators do a little digging into his background.
They plug his name into the police database and they come up with some pretty alarming things.
He was sentenced to prison for armed robbery, and then he was let out to a halfway house.
He was actually living in a house that transitions you from prison to living in normal society.
The forensic analysis of Anna's cell phone also gives detectives access to the couple's communications.
They found all sorts of heated messages between Anna and Jaleel the weeks before her murder.
Most of their arguments had to do with the pregnancy.
She was going to follow through with the pregnancy, go through full term, and have the child.
But Jaleel wasn't supportive.
If the father is also wanting you to have an abortion or what have you, at that point, it's not his choice because that's her body. There's a controlling and manipulative aspect to what's going on in the relationship.
To detectives' surprise, it appears Anna had actually reached her breaking point with Jaleel shortly before she was found dead.
She had literally ended it like, I'm done, we're not doing this.
You couldn't ask for a more crystal clear motive than that.
Jaleel really fell into place as a key suspect.
But before they confront him, detectives try to bolster their case by talking with Anna's daughter.
Even though Anna's daughter was only 2 years old, they believed that she may have seen her mother's killer. So they brought in an expert to see if maybe that expert could get any information out of the little girl.
But we have detectives that are trained in forensic interviews with young children.
If you don't mind, I have a few pictures to show you today, okay?
Okay.
The detective brings 2 photos to show Anna's daughter, one of Isaiah Bradley and one of Jaleel Loper.
He had laid a picture out of Isaiah, and the child had no reaction whatsoever. He then did it a second time with a picture of Jaleel Loper. And the child had a visible reaction.
With their case looking stronger by the minute, detectives attempt to contact Jaleel, but are forced to issue an APB. Then, instead of turning himself in, he leaves them a series of strange voicemails.
Hi, detective. This is Jaleel Loper. If y'all know something about Anna, please tell me. Like, I'm over here worried to death. I'll need to know that she's okay. So please, as soon as you get this message, please call me. It's Jaleel Loper again. Can somebody let me know something? Like, I've been texting and calling her. I mean, I've been concerned since last night. So whenever you get these messages, please call me back.
Detectives also receive a call from Jaleel's boss at the food plant.
The employer says, oh, Jaleel Loper showed up for work today, but he's upset and he's saying something about his girlfriend getting killed and he's gonna leave.
The detectives immediately jump in the car and they head down to the plant to see if they can intercept Jaleel.
We go over and try to meet him at his place of employment before he leaves. Well, lo and behold, when we're pulling up, he's getting on the bus. So essentially, the bus is pulling off as we're pulling up behind it.
Still, the visit to his job sparks a quick response from Jaleel.
Hi, Eric. Again, it's Jaleel Loper. You went to my job, and now they're questioning me about what's going on. I could possibly lose my job. So now I'm kind of like urgent to know what's going on. I'm willing to talk to y'all. I have nothing to hide, nothing.
Jaleel, we need you to come down to the precinct immediately.
On September 28th, 2 days after Anna was murdered, Jaleel finally shows up at the police station.
We start interviewing him. And initially, he came off as calm and cooperative and wanted to help us.
Jaleel is also upfront with the investigators about his troubled past.
What did they say you did?
I did 4 years and 2 months.
Jaleel admits that he knew Anna was pregnant with his child, but contrary to the text messages, he claims to have been excited about the new baby.
I was like, well, how do you know he's pregnant? He's like, well, because she took a pregnancy test.
I actually have the pregnancy test in my book bag now. Y'all can have it if y'all need DNA or something to test it.
Jaleel tells detectives that he believes there's only one person who could be responsible for his girlfriend's murder: Isaiah Bradley.
She told me that, and she told her dad that she was receiving text messages from him threatening her.
And Jaleel says Isaiah's harassment went beyond unwanted texts.
He was following her. She said he kept popping up on her when she would get off the bus, and he would follow her and talk to her. And she asked me, did I have any mace or pepper spray or a pocket knife or something, just in case he tried to do something to her.
The detectives had already cleared Isaiah, so this kind of comes as a little suspicious. At this point, they turn the conversation towards the night of the murder.
He gives us his alibi of where he was.
After I got off work at 3:30, I had to wait on a bus to come all the way back around, which was like 4:25.
Jaleel admits he took the bus to the apartment complex where Anna lived, but he says he wasn't there to visit his girlfriend.
He says, I'm there to see my other friend, Dave Hudson, who lives in the next building over.
And then you hung out there for?
Like an hour. We played basketball right there in the complex.
After their game, Jaleel says that Dave gave him a ride back to the bus stop.
Jaleel has to catch the bus back to the halfway house to make sure he's not late because he has to be in by a certain time.
They left Dave's apartment around 6 o'clock, which means that Jaleel would have been with Dave Hudson during that entire window when Anna could have been killed.
Basically, Dave Hudson is his alibi.
But Jaleel admits that on their way out of the apartment complex, something unusual caught his attention.
He goes, when Dave is driving me back to the bus stop so I can catch the bus, I see an ambulance by Anna's apartment.
The ambulance was in front of her building, and I was like, bro, like, I don't know, like something fishy going on. And I was like, well, let me go make sure she's okay.
But Jaleel says that when he went to check on Anna, everything seemed fine.
I rung the buzzer, she didn't answer, and then I stepped back out and I looked up at her window because it's right above the door and her lights was off, and I was like, bro, I just don't think she's home. And we got in the car and left.
Jaleel says it wasn't until the next day that he learned the horrible truth.
When he still hadn't heard from Anna the following morning, Jaleel got more concerned and started calling around to the local hospitals and eventually to the morgue.
I called the coroner and I was like, hi, my name's Jaleel Loper, and I'm just calling to see if you have my girlfriend there. He was like, yeah, she here. And I just broke down. I mean, that's my baby, I love her.
Detectives aren't buying Jaleel's sob story.
That was like a fake emotion. You could tell he's trying to make himself cry, but no tears are coming out.
The problem is that your story doesn't make a lot of sense.
Jaleel had a motive to hurt Anna, and now he's placed himself at her apartment at the time of the murder.
Once we weren't buying his story, you could tell a change in him.
Tell us what happened, Jaleel.
What are you talking about?
When you were at the apartment.
Jaleel Loper has admitted to being at his girlfriend Anna's apartment complex on the afternoon of her murder. He claims he never saw her, but investigators don't believe him.
He was trying to play he's the victim. He's the one that lost a loved one, but it's not a genuine emotion.
And it's not going to bode well for you if you lie. We've been doing this for a while, and there's more to this story than what you're telling us.
They confronted him with those text messages that Anna had ended their relationship.
It looks like she's breaking up with you.
Yeah, well, she always do. We always break up and get back together. That's what we do.
As the police turn up the pressure, Jaleel starts to get defensive.
I'm asking you.
I give up, man.
Once we start confronting him with inconsistencies on his story, he's just getting agitated. Like, he's a big guy. He's bigger than me. At one point, it was like, wow, is this going to go south fast?
I don't understand the barrage of questions. Y'all making it seem like I did this.
At that point, he becomes very angry, and he ends the interview with us.
You don't want to talk to us any longer?
No, because y'all just turned this into something else.
Despite their belief that Jaleel is Anna's killer, Detectives will need concrete evidence in order to officially charge him with her murder.
We said, all right, you're free to go, but I'm keeping your phone for evidence. I'm taking your phone. For what? Because you told me this was your major communication to her. So I would like to search your phone.
While the device is sent out for testing, detectives are eager to follow up on Jaleel's alibi. They immediately reach out to Dave Hudson.
We're like, hey, Dave, we'd like to talk to you. He's like, I have nothing to say to you guys. You're the cops. I'm like, really? I said, it's in reference to a homicide. He's like, what?
He agreed to come in for an interview.
He comes to Bristol Township Police Department. We sit down in the same manner we always do. We interview him, and he seems like he's very forthright.
Dave confirms that he knows Jaleel Loper.
Are you guys friends? Tight friends?
Oh, yeah.
Dave also confirms that he saw Jaleel on the day Anna was killed.
He says Jaleel had showed up at his apartment asking for a ride.
He asked me to give him a ride to the Bristol.
That was Wednesday?
Yeah.
Everything Dave was saying was lining up with what Jaleel had already told police.
But when detectives start digging into the details, the two men's stories start to diverge.
What time was that about?
That's around, I guess, 6:15.
That's when he called you for a ride to...
That's when he asked me to take him to the
bus stop.
Yes.
In his interview, Jaleel told detectives that he got to Dave's apartment before 5 o'clock. So now, that timeline is not adding up.
And it's not the only inconsistency.
Was he over at your place, or were you shooting hoops with him?
Oh, no.
Jaleel had claimed that they had played basketball for about an hour that afternoon.
If Jaleel was to say, I was hanging out from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock on Wednesday, and we were playing basketball, would that be accurate?
Wednesday?
This Wednesday, 2 days ago.
No.
Jaleel's alibi just wasn't adding up.
Detectives are also able to find evidence that supports Dave's version of events.
Dave ends up telling us, oh yeah, I stopped at a local convenience store, got gas. We ended up pulling the video, pulling the register receipts, and it shows, they're in there. So Dave Hudson's story is pretty much lining up.
Which means that Jaleel Loper must be lying.
Detectives were able to find things that didn't add up.
Dave Hudson's story is just blowing Jaleel Loper's alibi out of the water.
But before they let him go, investigators have one more question for Dave.
I just want to play something for you, and if you recognize the voice, if you tell me who you think it is, if you recognize it.
They hit play on the tape, and it was that anonymous 911 call that was made just before Anna's friend called police.
To detectives, the call already sounds eerily similar to Jaleel's voice. But if Dave will go on record to confirm, it will strengthen their case even more.
Anna impacted a lot of people's lives. I just wish that we could go back in time. You know how you think about if you would have known how you would have been able to protect? I would like to think that if I would have known that she was going through these issues, I could have talked to her prior to her talking to him, and maybe things would have went differently. But I guess we'll never know.
Jaleel Loper's friend, Dave Hudson, has just identified him as the person who made the anonymous call to 911 about Anna Angok's murder.
Carlos' apartment, please, hurry.
Yes, sir.
He said 100%, no doubt in my mind, that is Jaleel Loper.
That means that Jaleel knew that Anna was dead before anyone else. And the fact that he wasn't with Dave that afternoon means that he had the opportunity to commit the crime.
For Jaleel, it became harder for him to keep up an alibi when they had evidence that said otherwise.
Everything you said before I got the recorder?
After speaking with Dave, detectives receive even more evidence against Jaleel.
The report comes back on Jaleel's cell phone, and it indicates that it was likely Jaleel, rather than Isaiah, sending those threatening text messages to Anna.
We did multiple search warrants for his accounts. And when Jaleel Loper was registering for his Text Now account, he actually used his real name and was sending these threatening texts.
Jaleel's search history is just as damning.
He's the one searching for abortion clinics. He's the one searching for how to get rid of a child. And something like an hour after the police are called to Anna's apartment, Jaleel Loper has Google searches on his phone: murder in Croydon, girl killed at Glen Hollow Apartments.
It's more than enough evidence to take to the DA for formal charges.
The district attorney's office made the determination that we had enough probable cause to arrest Jaleel Loper.
Jaleel was charged with homicide, murder of an unborn child, and counts of stalking.
This was considered a capital crime in Pennsylvania, and the prosecution was planning on pursuing the death penalty.
But in the end, Jaleel's case never makes it to trial.
The prosecutors in the case talked to Jaleel, and they talked to his attorney, and they knew they had a lot of evidence against him.
Negotiations were made that if the Commonwealth came off the death penalty, that Jaleel Loper would be willing to plead guilty. And coupled with that, he had to give a full confession.
Jaleel and his legal team agree to the prosecution's terms.
I'm actually glad he took a deal because the evidence truly showed that he was guilty of what he did.
On October 8th, 2021, Jaleel sits down with investigators again, this time to tell the truth.
In his confession, Jaleel confirmed what police already knew through those text messages, that Jaleel and Anna's relationship was falling apart.
Jaleel says the couple couldn't come to terms about the pregnancy, and Anna had had enough.
Anna knew that she didn't want to be with her boyfriend anymore, and that she was trying to figure out a way to get away from him.
She was ending the relationship.
But Jaleel admits he wasn't ready to walk away.
After Anna broke up with him over text, Jaleel said he went to her apartment to confront her.
He just couldn't let go of that final grasp of her.
Jaleel, this just isn't working.
What do you mean? We're having a baby.
According to Jaleel, he was the one who wanted to keep the baby.
He said that they got in an argument because she told him that she wanted to get rid of the baby, and he did not want her to.
Well, maybe I don't want to do that with you.
He was accusing her of getting an abortion.
The argument quickly became heated.
He went in a rage.
He then took a cell phone cord and put it around her neck.
He literally choked the life out of her.
During this whole struggle, Anna's 2-year-old daughter is sitting in a recliner watching the whole thing go down.
Then after, he's giving her a snack and a juice box.
What that child witnessed is unimaginable.
I think it's a tragic situation that a child so young is exposed to such violence.
Wake up.
The child's mind is something that's really fragile.
Even at 2 years old, that is going to affect you for the rest of your life.
Even after his confession, doubts remain about whether Jaleel is being totally honest about what happened.
There is no indication whatsoever that Anna had looked into having an abortion or had contemplated an abortion. From speaking with her family and friends, that is something that Anna would not do.
Regardless of his motive, the terms of Jaleel's plea deal and sentencing remain the same.
In October 2021, Jaleel was sentenced to 39 to 78 years in a state prison. The soonest he'll ever get out of prison, he'll be in his 70s.
For those who loved Anna, Jaleel's fate offers little comfort.
Honestly, I don't think that his sentence can do anything to bring back or satisfy her family and friends to what he actually did.
Anna came to this country for a better life for herself and for her daughter, only to get killed in her own apartment.
Now, this little girl has to grow up without her mother. No child should ever have to go through that.
On a brisk fall day, a single phone call forever changes the lives of a Midwest family's future. With a promising future ahead and effectively leaving the past behind, grandmother Robin Young has vanished. Detectives are on the hunt. What happened to Robin Young? What happens when love becomes fatal? This is the Fatal Attraction Podcast with Chasing a Monster.
November 13th, 2008. It's Thursday morning in Rock Island, Illinois, one of the Quad Cities that bracket the banks of the Mississippi as it flows between Illinois and Iowa.
The Quad Cities are Rock Island and Moline on the Illinois side, and Davenport and Bettendorf across the river in Iowa.
It just seems like one big city. Population-wise, we're probably at about 300,000.
Yet it still retains that small-town Midwest feel.
It's a good place to live, good place to raise a family.
The Quad Cities, to me, is just real quiet.
But the mist has barely burned off the river that quiet morning when Diamond Young gets an unexpected call at 7:15.
I answered the phone.
Hello?
And it was my niece's voice.
Diamond? Grandma's not here.
What do you mean she isn't there?
I woke up and she was gone.
The little girl lives with Diamond's mother, 50-year-old Robin Young.
Is Papa there?
Papa is what the little girl calls her grandmother's boyfriend, 59-year-old Chuck Harris.
She was calling me from Chuck's number.
Robin's granddaughter said that Charles had come early to pick her up and take her to school.
He would do that occasionally. He had a very good relationship with the granddaughter.
With Chuck there, Robin's daughter breathes a sigh of relief.
I'm like, maybe she got called into work, and she called Chuck and had Chuck come over.
Robin was a certified nursing assistant, so she sometimes got called in on short notice. I'll call Grandma at work and see what's going on. Papa can take you to school.
But even after Diamond reassures her niece that everything is okay, there's a nagging worry at the back of her mind.
Robin had some difficulties earlier in life that she was working through. She had a rough past, right, with drugs.
I had saw her relapse quite a few times.
Mama, where are you?
The biggest fear when a loved one relapses is that it could be the last time.
Call me when you get this.
Chicago native Robin Young was known for her loving, outgoing personality.
She was a lot of fun to be around. My mom was real spunky. I used to call her a firecracker.
And she shared an especially close bond with her two children.
I was the second child. I have an older brother.
They had a great relationship. She was a good mom.
The bond between Robin and her children's father wasn't as lasting, though.
They separated when I was 16. Me and my brother watched them try to make it work. But after a while, it just became too much for everybody.
In the aftermath, Robin's life imploded. To deal with the pain, she turned to drugs.
She definitely tried to hide it and tried to keep it together as much as she could, but we knew something was going on.
Things got even worse when Robin met a man named Omar Weeks.
There was already some drug history before them, but they just weren't good for each other.
Omar got Robin hooked on crack cocaine.
To watch her go from being such a strong person who could hold it down to that was hard to watch.
Robin did try to kick the habit.
She went to treatment multiple times. She did.
Usually, she'd go into rehab whenever Omar was in jail.
She would get herself together. And then when he would get out, she would relapse.
It's lighted. When people are in dark places, sometimes it's kind of hard to get out.
But in 2005, when Omar went to jail for more than 3 years, Robin tried to make a clean break.
I was living in Rock Island, so she came, stayed with me for about 3-4 weeks, and she got her an apartment.
Quiet life in the Quad Cities was the change she needed.
She was doing good. She was in a good place.
She came here and got her life together.
Robin took classes to become a certified nursing assistant.
I remember her being nervous because it had been so long since she had been to school.
She got her certification and a job at a local nursing home.
She took a lot of pride in her job. She took very good care of the patients.
She just generally is a nurturer.
That same nurturing spirit showed in Robin's loving relationship with her granddaughter.
I think it speaks volumes that she took her granddaughter in and allowed the granddaughter to live with her.
I believe that my mom felt like she could right some wrongs with me, with my niece.
She was making the most out of her second chance.
Robin also opened herself up to love again with a man named Chuck Harris.
He was a really nice guy, nice-looking guy, clean-cut, very friendly.
Like Robin, Chuck was a Chicago native who'd come to the Quad Cities looking to start over.
He had a long history of drug abuse.
They met in Narcotics Anonymous.
They had some of the same struggles.
And like Robin, he'd turned his life around.
Charles worked at a treatment and rehabilitation facility in Davenport.
He was down to earth. He was quiet. It seemed like he was a humble guy.
They were good with each other. They were real cute together.
Chuck also helped Robin take care of her granddaughter.
She called Charles her papa. It was always them three together.
It seemed like everything was going great. He was happy and she looked very happy.
So when her niece calls early on the morning of November 13th,
Grandma's not here.
Robin's daughter Diamond isn't initially alarmed.
Papa can take you to school. I'll find out where Grandma is.
Okay.
Gets off the phone with Diamond. Charles takes her to school.
Diamond figured that her mom had just gotten called into work early and slipped out before her granddaughter woke up.
When I got off the phone with her, I kind of laid back down because, again, it was early in the morning.
But Diamond quickly gets up again, now racked with worry.
What she said registered to me like my mom wasn't there all night.
Robin just would not leave that child alone overnight.
Mom!
Stay tuned for more of this gripping episode of the Fatal Attraction Podcast.
After years of struggling with addiction, 50-year-old Robin Young had finally turned her life around.
She started over, just feet hitting the pavement. She just took off.
She was taking care of her granddaughter, her son's daughter.
I'm growing a huge rainbow flower.
She had a good job.
And she'd found love with a new boyfriend, Charles Harris.
It seemed like they was in a good place.
But now Robin has disappeared.
Robin's granddaughter woke up and saw that her grandmother wasn't home, which was very unusual.
While Robin's boyfriend Chuck takes the 10-year-old to school, Diamond desperately tries to reach her mother.
There's no way that Robin would just take off and leave her granddaughter.
Mama, where are you? Call me when you get this.
Her phone just kept going to voicemail. And so I called her job. They said she wasn't there.
Diamond was very concerned.
I done contacted everybody that I know that would even know anything about my mom.
Even more odd, when she tries to follow up with Chuck, she can't get a hold of him either.
Called him like 3 times and he never answered.
Unable to reach Chuck, Diamond goes to her mother's apartment.
Mom!
I went over and like kind of looked around to see if like was her purse gone or her little wallet.
The wallet is there, but Diamond notices that some things are missing.
Her debit card wasn't in it.
Robin's cell phone was also nowhere to be found inside the apartment.
Is it possible Robin had run off without telling anyone?
Robin had a history of drug addiction, so a relapse wasn't out of the question.
However, Diamond can't shake the feeling that this isn't drug-related.
To just disappear, she would never do that.
Diamond couldn't help but think that her mom may be in real trouble.
After searching her mom's apartment, Diamond picks up her niece from school.
I took her back to my mom's house, and I was asking her, well, what was she doing yesterday?
The little girl says her grandmother had been at work when she got out of school on Wednesday.
Charles picked her up from school, brought her home, then left because he said he wanted to get some rest before he had to go into work that night. About 8:30, Robin comes home.
I'm sure it's in there. I'm looking at it right now. It's not here.
My niece said when she came in, he was arguing with somebody on the phone.
But not long after arriving home, according to her granddaughter, Robin had abruptly left.
Go ahead and go to bed now, sweetie. I'll be back in a little while, okay? Okay. What the hell?
She said as my mom was leaving, she got to arguing on the phone again.
But who was the person on the other end of the phone?
If Robin had relapsed and started taking drugs again, maybe she had gotten into some kind of trouble.
I just had no idea who we were dealing with.
After arranging a sitter for her niece, Diamond drops by Chuck's apartment across the river in Davenport, Iowa.
I still have not heard from him. Nobody's answering his door, so I'm knocking on the neighbor's door. And the woman that lived across from him was just like, have you heard anything?
Chuck told me Robin's missing. Where? This morning?
According to Chuck's neighbor, after taking Robin's granddaughter to school, he came home, but left again quickly.
Chuck told his neighbor that he was going to go looking for Robin. Then the neighbor told Diamond there had been no sign of him since.
I thought maybe something happened to them both. Like he must have went and tried to get my mom and something happened to them.
Diamond goes to the police and reports her mother missing.
They issued a be on the lookout for Robin, Chuck, and both of their cars and passed that information along to the local news media.
They also contact the police in Davenport.
Once Davenport police learned the situation, they headed over to Chuck's apartment to do a welfare check.
The search reveals no clues about Robin or Chuck's disappearance.
There was also no obvious indication of a struggle inside Charles' house.
There's no indication that Chuck has been back since that morning either.
With the information that both Robin and Charles were missing, we felt pretty strongly that something serious had happened.
When detectives go to search Robin's apartment, they find the first real indication that she might be involved in something dangerous.
The police found several 9mm cartridges hidden inside Robin's apartment.
We didn't find any firearms in the residence.
Maybe she's taking the gun with her for protection.
Check this out.
But where could she have gone? Detectives believe they may be able to find out.
Look, no ATM card.
Her debit card was missing.
We contacted her bank and subpoenaed the information for her bank account.
It's a very good tool to track the movements of an individual.
Thank you.
When detectives get the information from the bank, it shows that Robin, or whoever has her card, is on the move.
The card is being used traveling across Illinois.
There was money being withdrawn on the south side of Chicago.
Was it possible Robin had relapsed and fallen back into her old life?
She loves Chicago. You know, that's where she grew up.
It's also where Robin's old boyfriend, Omar Weeks, lived.
Maybe he had gotten out of jail and lured her back into her old life.
Or was the trail to Chicago a dead end? While waiting on more information from Robin's bank, a man calls the Davenport police with another lead.
He tells us that he was walking and he passed by the vehicle that he saw in a news story.
Our patrol officers respond. They look inside the vehicle and they see a female slumped over in the back seat.
The vehicle was opened to see if she needed medical assistance.
As soon as they opened the door, officers realized they were too late.
Stay tuned for more of this gripping episode of the Fatal Attraction Podcast.
"5 days after Robin Young disappeared, detectives in Davenport, Iowa believe they found the 50-year-old nursing assistant's body.
An unnamed person watched the news earlier that night, sees the vehicle, and calls 911 to report the vehicle.
In the back seat of the car, laying face down behind the front passenger seat, was a body.
Detectives are fairly confident that the dead woman is Robin.
The body was in her vehicle, the clothing matched.
But despite the demons in her past, detectives quickly realize Robin's death was no overdose.
They see a small puddle of blood underneath her head.
She'd been struck in the head several times.
But detectives doubt that she had been killed in the car.
We observed she had a little bit of dust on her back.
Whoever put her there dragged her body for a while and then placed her in the vehicle.
Hoping to locate a witness, detectives fan out and start knocking on doors.
It's an older, established neighborhood, so people noticed that this car was sitting there.
Detectives are still talking to neighbors when Robin's daughter Diamond gets word that her mother may have been found.
My friend called me and said that she just read a story online that said they found the woman's body in the car. And so I called 911. And the woman said, "Miss Young, I'm so sorry nobody has come to tell you yet." And I lost it. Like everything in me just came out. I couldn't believe she was gone.
Once her daughter makes a positive identification, the medical examiner conducts an autopsy and confirms that Robin's death was a homicide.
Robin died of blunt force injuries to the head.
She had some defensive wounds on her hands and arms.
In addition, the toxicology results find no evidence that Robin was on drugs when she died.
The only thing she had in her system was caffeine.
Despite fears that she'd relapsed, Robin had remained committed to her recovery.
But now that it's clear Robin has been murdered, one question remains.
Who would want to do her like this?
There was no sign at the crime scene of Chuck Harris, Robin's boyfriend, who also disappeared shortly after she did.
Nobody knows where Chuck is.
Robin's daughter worried that Chuck may have gone looking for her mother and met the same horrible fate.
Detectives get a warrant and return to the apartment where Robin's boyfriend lives to conduct a second, more thorough search.
During that first search, they were looking strictly for the person, and that's it.
In a search warrant, you're looking for evidence of a crime, and that could be anything, from the smallest item to looking for an actual murder weapon.
This time, detectives do find a small amount of blood.
We located some blood on the bathroom floor. The blood was collected and sent to the state lab.
But is the blood Robin's or Chuck's?
As much as Chuck cared about my mom, he would be trying to figure out what's going on. So I'm even thinking like maybe they got him too.
One thing is certain though. After running Robin's ex-boyfriend Omar Weeks' name through the database, detectives know he isn't her killer.
Diamond had mentioned Omar and his trouble with the law when she reported her mother and Chuck missing.
It turned out Omar was actually still in prison at the time of Robin's murder.
With Omar ruled out and still no sign of Chuck, detectives reach out to his co-workers at the rehab center.
Detectives wanted to find out if anyone at work had seen or heard from him since he and Robin disappeared.
Chuck's manager tells detectives they've been worried because he hasn't been in over the last several days.
He built a good rapport with the clients, and he had a good rapport with all the staff members there.
According to one coworker, Chuck had an especially good rapport with one staff member, a young woman named Katrina Lawrence.
We were told that they had a father-daughter relationship, that she looked up towards him, and he kind of looked after her.
Although she also says she sensed that there may have been more to the relationship.
Man, it just doesn't look right to me.
What do you mean?
She thought Chuck and Katrina were having an affair.
Where she'd be hanging on him and flirting.
Detectives investigating the murder of Robin Young have learned that her missing boyfriend, Chuck Harris, may have been seeing another woman on the side.
He was very close with the woman he worked with at the rehab center.
It just doesn't look right to me.
One of their co-workers even suspected that he and the woman had a sexual relationship.
But when detectives bring 23-year-old Katrina Lawrence in for questioning, she denies there's any sort of romantic relationship.
Seems like you were pretty close.
Who told you that? We're just friends. That's all.
So where were you last Wednesday night?
I was at work.
Katrina tells detectives she works third shift at the rehab center.
It's a place where people with drug and alcohol problems go, and they need around-the-clock employees there.
However, an alibi isn't all that Katrina offers them.
Chuck was supposed to work too, but he never showed.
He called into work and said he was sick.
And when we found out that he had called in sick that night, it immediately raised some red flags to us.
On the evening Robin disappeared, Chuck had told her granddaughter that he was going into work.
So when's the last time you heard from Chuck?
The next morning, I saw him at the school.
Her children go to the same school that Robin's granddaughter goes to. So as she's taking her children to school, she sees Charles dropping off Robin's granddaughter.
He say anything to you?
Not much. He was still sick.
He tells her that he's going to go back home and go to bed.
But detectives wonder if he'd really been sick at all.
Arguably something had happened that changed his plans.
Hoping to learn more, detectives pull Chuck's phone records, which reveal that Katrina and Chuck had a long phone conversation on Thursday morning.
The phone call was right around 15 minutes.
Katrina hadn't said anything to detectives about the phone call when they interviewed her.
However, Chuck's phone records also reveal that Chuck made 2 separate phone calls to Robin on Wednesday night, one at around 8:30 and another about an hour later.
Those calls coincided with Robin's granddaughter hearing her argue with someone over the phone.
Chuck's phone records don't offer detectives any clues as to his whereabouts, however.
There hadn't been any activity on Chuck's phone since Thursday, the day after Robin disappeared.
However, the phone records do reveal that Robin and Katrina weren't the only people he'd been in contact with before going silent. He'd also called a woman named Marilyn Black.
Charles had talked to Marilyn on the 13th in the early morning.
Detectives believe that Robin's murder happened sometime late on Wednesday, the 12th.
Telephone records linked Marilyn with Charles after Robin's death. So we brought her down to the police department.
Well, what exactly is your relationship with Charles?
I guess you can say we hung out.
When we sat down with Marilyn, she was very evasive.
But when detectives press, Marilyn eventually admits that her relationship with Chuck was physical.
Marilyn knew that Charles was with Robin as well. She considered herself kind of a side girlfriend of his.
He would call her and they would get together and meet.
She says she hasn't talked to Chuck in a couple of weeks.
She denies any phone calls between the two of them on the 12th and the 13th. Detective Noonan shows her, hey, we have the phone records. We know how many times he called you.
Okay, he called me. So what?
What did you talk about?
I don't remember exactly.
You could tell that she was trying to protect Charles in some way.
The detectives keep pushing.
She lied and denied it for quite some time. And then finally, what we were able to get from her was that he came over to her residence about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning on the 13th. He gave her $20, said, this will be the last time you see me.
Did he say why?
She admitted he told her that he and Robin had been arguing, and he told her that something went very wrong.
He wouldn't tell me what it was about.
But she does say that something Chuck had told her in the past made her fear the worst.
He would tell her that when he got mad, he would turn into Chucky.
Chucky?
You know the dolls in the movies, the ones that come alive?
The one that kills people?
Yeah.
He portrays himself to the outside world as a very quiet, respectful person, but we really start realizing how violent and dangerous he really is.
But it's not until they pull Chuck's criminal records that detectives learn the staggering truth.
Charles Harris had a very violent criminal history.
His problems extended beyond drugs. He had killed before.
Stay tuned for more of this gripping episode of the Fatal Attraction Podcast.
Detectives in Davenport, Iowa have just discovered that Charles Harris, the boyfriend of murder victim Robin Young, has a long criminal record.
In 1986, Chicago police had charged Chuck with killing his girlfriend.
She tried to end the relationship, and Charles kept stalking her. And then one night, Charles climbed in a window, and he stabbed her to death.
Charles was convicted of voluntary manslaughter and served a little over 3 years before being released on parole.
4 years later, he was arrested again.
He had another very violent domestic assault in the Illinois part of the Quad Cities.
1994, He's married. His wife wants a divorce. She gets a protective order. He continually violates the protective order. And then one night, he comes in and he severely beats her.
She spent some time in the hospital. It was bad enough that I think if somebody hadn't got her, she probably would have died.
He's charged with attempted murder. He's convicted. He gets a 16-year sentence on that charge.
Released after 10 years, Chuck was soon in trouble again.
In 2005, he is dating another woman. That relationship goes badly. He breaks her arm.
He had a very, very violent history, particularly when it came to women. With every relationship that he had, where the girlfriend wants to break it off, and as soon as that happens, Charles reacts violently.
But while detectives believe Robin may be the latest victim of Chuck's violence, they don't have a clear picture of what unfolded until a woman named Charlene Tate comes forward.
Charlene's a mutual friend of Robin and Charles.
You said you have some information for us. What kind of information?
It's just some things that Robin had said to me. She was worried about Chuck.
Robin told Charlene that Charles was becoming very possessive, very jealous. He kept asking her questions about money, wanting to know how much money she had.
My mom was constantly getting raises at work. She was such a good worker. So at one point she was making more money than him.
According to Charlene, Robin was also afraid Chuck had started using drugs again.
I'm not sure if he relapsed. I do remember her saying that he was displaying some behaviors that she hadn't seen from him before.
She was starting to see what Charles was and what he was about, and she realized, hey, I'm a stronger woman now. I don't need this guy.
She'd worked so hard. The last thing she needed was Chuck dragging her down.
Robin told Charlene that she was going to end the relationship.
Did she tell you what she was planning to do?
She mentioned something about a restraining order.
Any woman that talks about getting a restraining order isn't just because of verbal argument, it's because of something physical.
Charles Harris is a person whose way of solving problems is through violence, certainly when it comes to women.
It's not enough for an arrest warrant, but detectives do obtain a warrant to detain Charles Harris as a material witness.
A material witness warrant is a warrant for the apprehension of somebody who cannot be served with a subpoena. With Charles Harris, he was one of the last people to see Robin alive, so we can compel him to come in and we can ask questions.
But first, detectives will need to find him, and they have a pretty good idea where to look.
It was known Charles Harris was from Chicago, and Robin Young's bank card was being used in that area.
The days following her disappearance, the bank card was used 12 times.
I called a couple of the convenience stores that the card was being used at to pull the surveillance tape.
And the video leaves no doubt about who has Robin's debit card.
That video showed a person using her ATM cards in Chicago.
You could clearly see that it was Charles Harris.
Stay tuned for more of this gripping episode of the Fatal Attraction Podcast.
Detectives investigating Robin Young's murder have uncovered evidence that her boyfriend, Chuck Harris, is likely the one who killed the 50-year-old nursing assistant.
He had my mom's debit card and he was using her debit card.
Detectives had surveillance video from a Chicago convenience store that showed Chuck using the card.
He walks into the gas station, goes right to the ATM, take money out of her account.
In the week following Robin's murder, Chuck had used the card at several locations on the south side of Chicago.
So that bank card assisted us in not only proving that he was using the card through surveillance videos, but also helping us track down where he was at.
3 weeks after the murder, Chicago police track him down.
They locate him on December the 2nd, driving in the city of Chicago.
Vehicle takes off, leaves him on a pursuit.
Eventually, more units arrive and manage to cut him off.
He abandons the car and leads him on a foot chase.
Charles takes off running.
That's when his luck truly ran out.
A U.S. Marshal that's leaving his residence to go to work turns and looks and sees Charles Harris running from the police.
After a quick tackle by the off-duty marshal, police take Chuck into custody.
He was in the Chicago Police Department's lockup, so we went down there.
He owes some people an explanation. Yeah. Especially one little 10-year-old girl.
Faced with the reality of what he'd done to Robin and her granddaughter, Chuck agrees to talk.
He looked completely defeated.
His explanation was that Robin had told him their relationship was over the afternoon on the 12th. She told him to get out and that he went home.
But according to Chuck, Robin had showed up at his apartment later that night.
Apparently, that's where Robin went after she sent her granddaughter to bed.
He said as soon as she came over, they started to argue.
We were arguing about money. That's all we were arguing about.
According to Chuck, the argument that night had turned violent.
What happened?
She hit me with something.
Charles claimed that Robin hit him over the head with a pipe.
What happened after she hit you?
I hit her back.
It's a very similar story to Chuck's previous attack on his ex-wife.
These two situations are almost exactly the same. There's an argument that goes too far, hits her, and blames it on the woman.
But no matter how much he spins the story, detectives consider it a confession.
They charged him with first-degree murder.
I believe he couldn't handle the fact that Robin was breaking up with him.
It's not here.
So he decided to lure Robin to his apartment.
I think what happened was when she tells him we're done, Charles takes her debit card.
That was his way of setting the trap.
She demands it back. He says, I'm going to give it to you, but you got to come over here and get it.
Okay, I'm coming.
She hangs up the phone and tells her granddaughter, I'll be right back.
Bye, Dad. I love you.
But she'd never come back from Chuck's apartment.
He hit her over the head 2 or 3 times.
He then put Robin's body in the back of her car, drove away from his place, and left her there.
Why he picks that location, I don't know. How he gets back to his apartment, he could have walked.
The next morning, he'd stopped off at Robin's apartment as if nothing had happened.
It seemed that by pretending he'd just gotten off work and taken Robin's granddaughter to school like usual, Chuck was trying to set up an alibi.
Then he'd left town.
He fled to Chicago where he can blend in and feel safe.
Now, though, he's back in Iowa and facing a murder charge.
We were ready to go to trial. It was a very good case.
But a jury will never hear it. On June 2nd, 2009, the day Chuck's trial is supposed to begin, the defense and prosecution agree to a plea deal.
The prosecuting attorney has to look at what is best for the case and what's best for the family, what's best for public safety.
You have to consider a plea as a guarantee.
Under the terms of the plea, Charles Harris is sentenced to 45 years in prison.
He'll be 84 years old by the time he's eligible for parole.
That's about as close to a life sentence that you can get.
It isn't enough for Robin's daughter.
She's never coming back. So even with them catching, he's been to prison so many times, I don't even feel like that's punishment for him.
But there is some solace that at least he will never get another chance at life, which is exactly what he took from Robin.
So sad that somebody who had a rough life finally got it back together, and then this happens.
She was working, doing everything right, and fell in with the wrong guy.
But even a ruthless killer can't diminish all that she overcame.
Her story always makes me just feel like even when I feel like giving up, don't, because she never did. I don't know anybody that was more proud of her than I was. My mom was a great person.
It's unfortunate that we are constantly surrounded by deceitful individuals who lie in wait each day. Every day, we face shocking accounts of their dishonesty and pure ruthlessness. Robin Young, a mother, a grandmother, and a fighter who never gave up, will forever be cherished in the hearts of her family and friends. Coming up on the next episode of the Fatal Attraction Podcast.
They were a loving couple living the American dream.
They came to America seeking stability, seeking success. They really had to hustle and work hard.
They made the better life for themselves.
Until a horrible crime destroyed everything they held dear.
She can hear her husband. He's screaming.
This is
A quaint town in Georgia is thrown into turmoil when a couple on the brink of greatness experiences a horrific attack. Who would want to hurt them? Their loved ones are determined to find out what happened. Tune in to the next episode of the Fatal Attraction Podcast. We will see you in the next episode.
In Easton, Pennsylvania, a community is shattered and in turmoil when a devoted father and celebrated DJ is shot. As the sounds of gunfire reverberate, questions arise. What could have driven someone to want to hurt this cherished father? As detectives embark on this complex investigation, they unravel a web of deceit. What happens when love becomes fatal? This is the Fatal Attraction Podcast with Master of Manipulation.
November 23rd, 2012. It's Friday evening in Easton, Pennsylvania, a charming city on the western shore of the Delaware River.
The city of Easton has some very old history. It's a small but fairly populous town.
When you drive through it, you feel like it's one of those places you'll see in a Hallmark movie.
It is very peaceful.
And on the night after Thanksgiving, many Easton residents are finishing up their Black Friday shopping.
Easton has been revitalized. There are so many wonderful restaurants and businesses in the downtown area.
Susan Thornton, however, is at home, waiting for her friend Irvin Holton to arrive.
Irvin Holton was a DJ, and Susan Thornton had agreed that Irvin could use her car to get all the equipment he needed to an event that Friday night.
They were good friends. She was helping them out.
And about 5:40, Susan gets a call from Irvin saying that he's arriving.
Hey, you almost here?
Yeah, I'm walking up now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be right there.
Yeah.
But suddenly, she hears a series of loud bangs.
Every year on Black Friday, there's an event in town to kick off the Christmas season.
It's a very celebratory time in downtown Easton. It's not uncommon for fireworks to be lit off.
But when she steps outside, she realizes that what she heard wasn't fireworks.
Oh my God, Irvin!
Susan opens the door and finds Irvin in a pool of blood.
He was shot multiple times.
Oh my God.
43-year-old Irvin Holton was the kind of person who made friends everywhere he went.
He's a great guy.
He was always positive, always happy, the kind of person that anybody would want to spend time with.
Irvin lived in Easton, Pennsylvania for the past 20 years.
He liked the slower pace of life there compared to where he grew up in Washington, D.C.
He considered it his home.
Easton was also where he made a name for himself as a DJ.
Everybody refers to Irvin as DJ E, and he was known throughout the community.
When you came to one of his parties, everybody knew you was going to have a really great time.
But Irvin was adored by the community for more than just his DJing skills.
He was a giving person. He loved to entertain, not just for the local clubs, but also volunteering his time and his services for different parties and events.
He was doing things for people's weddings, just out of the goodness of his heart.
But there was something DJ E loved even more than performing: his family.
He was a single dad raising his daughter alone.
Irvin took his role as a father very seriously. He made sure that aside from DJing, he took a factory job just to make sure that she had everything she needed.
She was just his whole world.
Because of his efforts, she excelled and was an honor student in her class.
Baby girl, a jacket?
Oh, thank you, Dad.
You're welcome.
But between raising his daughter and working 2 jobs, Irvin was left with little time for a love life until he met Janice.
Janice Walters was working as a waitress at a local restaurant.
She was working an event that Irvin was DJing, and he caught her eye.
Can I request a song?
Anything for you.
He has this presence of like a local celebrity.
He really showed you what it means to be a cool type of guy.
I bet you get girls' numbers all the time.
I usually don't call back, but for you, I will.
And before long, they were spending all of their free time together.
From the moment that Irvin met Janice, they were inseparable. It's like it just was magic. They had so much of a connection.
And to Irvin, Janice appeared to be the perfect addition to his family.
He was really building the life he had always wanted.
Oh my God!
But now, Irvin Holton has been shot down on the doorstep of his friend Susan's home.
Her first thought is to try to render him some type of aid.
Well, she grabbed anything she had handy to try and stop the bleeding.
Help! Call 911!
Thankfully, her neighbor was home and heard her yelling.
He's been shot!
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Stay with me!
911.
Somebody got shot. Somebody got shot.
All right, where was he shot at?
He looks like he's shot in the chest. He died, man.
Easton police officers arrive at the scene within minutes, but they're already too late.
Police find Susan cradling Irvin lifeless in her arms.
Yeah. It's the county.
What's up?
Okay, there's been a shooting in Easton.
Is person alive or dead?
Dead.
Irvin was declared dead at the scene, and homicide investigators were immediately called in.
And it doesn't take them long to rule out one theory.
When investigators searched Irvin's pockets, they realized that he had a wallet full of $150.
It was apparent that this was not a random robbery.
He was shot multiple times.
The last shot was fired at close range.
This was an execution.
Stay with us for more of this gripping story. We will return with more of the Fatal Attraction podcast.
43-year-old single father Irvin Holton was living his dream in Easton, Pennsylvania as a popular DJ known as DJ E.
DJ E never let success and the admiration get to his head. He was humble enough to throw free parties for different events.
He's showing people you can be a business person, you can have fun, but you can still look out for your friends and community.
He was also looking out for his family.
Irvin was raising his daughter on his own.
He was a good person, just doing right by the community and doing right by his family.
And despite his busy schedule, he always made time for his new girlfriend, Janice Walters.
The relationship that Irvin had with Janice was a relationship where he could be who he genuinely was, different from what everyone saw in the spotlight.
But now, instead of building a future together, Irvin Holton lies dead outside his friend's home.
Irvin Holton was gunned down in the middle of the street on that Friday evening.
And Easton homicide detectives are quickly able to rule out a couple of potential scenarios.
When investigators showed up on the scene, they noticed that there were multiple gunshots to Irvin's body.
He had been hit several times in the legs, but the fatal one was to his chest.
The shot to his chest wasn't just a drive-by shooting, it was at a point-blank range.
He wasn't shot by an armed robber either.
He had his wallet on him. He had cash in his pockets.
This wasn't a robbery gone wrong.
This appeared to be a targeted homicide.
As detectives examine the area around his body, they make another discovery.
Detectives found several shell casings at the scene, and they noticed there were 2 different calibers.
He's got 2 guns.
Yep. At the scene, it was determined that there was 2 shooters.
Somehow, these perpetrators knew he was going to be there.
Now the question is, why?
What's the motive for this horrific crime?
Who would intentionally kill a guy like Irvin?
They hope to get answers from the last person to see Irvin alive, Susan Thornton.
Susan was in a state of complete shock. Out of nowhere, she had to desperately try to keep one of her good friends from bleeding out on her doorstep.
For her to witness something horrific like that and to hold this gentleman in her arms and when he's taking his last breath, for the rest of your life, that picture stays in your mind.
Pulling herself together, Susan tells investigators that Irvin wanted to borrow her car to get to an event he was DJing.
Susan Thornton had agreed that Irvin could use her car so he could transport all of his equipment to the show.
He called me right before he...
Did he seem upset at all?
No, he was excited for his show.
When detectives asked Susan, do you know of anybody that would want to hurt him? She said, no, this is a stand-up guy. He's loved by everybody.
But before detectives wrap up their interview with Susan, she is able to give them a name.
He's got a new girlfriend, too. She may know more.
She know her name?
Yeah, Janice Walters.
Investigators look at the person that's closest to them, the person that they spend the most time with, to get as much information as you possibly could.
Obviously, they wanted to talk to Janice.
Would you happen to have her number?
Yes, I do.
Detectives have their starting point, but as they're leaving the crime scene, they're handed a more promising lead.
A person approached the detectives on the scene.
He said he was with Irvin before the shot had happened.
Irvin had been hanging out with his friend Tommy Payne in a different section of Easton. Irvin needed to get over to St. Joseph Street so he could go visit Susan Thornton.
Tommy says he'd driven Irvin to a convenience store across the street from Susan's home.
They wanted to grab some beer to take to Irvin's show that night.
Mr. Holton walked in, he kind of made a loop through the business and then said to his buddy, hey, I'm gonna go across the street and pick up a car. And Tommy stayed there.
While he was in the store, Tommy heard a series of bangs.
Tommy didn't think it was gunshots that he heard.
I heard pop, pop. I thought it was fire because I'm like, that's not ain't nobody shooting.
But just to be sure, he called Irvin's phone.
I said, let me call E to make sure, because that sound kind of close. I said, let me call E to make sure he's okay.
But Irvin didn't answer.
So Tommy actually walks outside and sees Irvin's collapse outside of Susan's residence.
I heard a scream, he was laying down.
But that wasn't all he saw.
He sees two figures dressed in dark clothing running from the scene.
He didn't see any faces or anything specific, but what he did know was that they were all dressed in black.
Whoever it was, they knew he was going to have to get that car. You just got to figure out, you know what I mean?
He explained to them that Irvin was a stand-up guy, and he didn't know anybody that would want to harm him.
With one possible exception.
He told police that the only guy that probably would have a problem with Irvin was Keith Poole.
He tells police that the two men had been in a dispute for a very long time.
But recently, the feud had escalated.
There was an altercation.
Keith pulled a gun on him.
He'd threatened Irvin's life.
Will the truth be uncovered? Stay tuned for more of the Fatal Attraction Podcast.
After 43-year-old Irvin Holton was gunned down outside an Easton, Pennsylvania residence, detectives are working quickly to find any lead to his killers.
Starting out with no leads in an investigation can be very frustrating.
Anyone could be involved in what happened here.
But now Irvin's friend, Tommy Payne, has just given detectives their first potential suspect.
Tommy was speculating that this could have been initiated by an individual he knew as Keith Poole.
Tommy tells the police that the two men had been in a dispute for a very long time.
But recently, the dispute took a serious turn.
He told me that he pulled the gun out on him.
What's more, Tommy claims to have seen Keith earlier near the scene of the murder.
He was around there earlier that day. Was with another guy in the car.
Thank you for your time.
Back at the station, detectives set their sights on Keith Poole, starting with his criminal history.
Keith Poole had had run-ins with the police, had done time in jail.
He'd gone to prison, but he'd been released on parole.
And when investigators comb through his social media, they discover a potential motive.
Janice Walters. Isn't that who Susan said Irvin was dating?
Yeah, I think it was.
Irvin had been involved in some level in a relationship with Mr. Poole's former girlfriend, Janice Walters.
Was it possible that the two men were feuding over Janice?
Detectives tried calling Janice to ask her to come to the station for an interview, but she didn't answer.
Hey, you've reached Janice. Sorry I missed you.
Trying to arrange an interview with Keith, however, is a little easier.
Keith is on probation. And when investigators contacted his probation officer, they found out that he actually skipped his meeting.
The meeting was scheduled for earlier that day.
Based on that information, officers issued a bolo for Keith that told police to arrest him on site.
While waiting to hear back from Janice and for Keith to be found, investigators searched for more clues in the 911 calls made around the time of Irvin's murder.
There were lots of calls that came into 911. Someone had to have seen something that was useful.
Luckily for detectives, one call gives them an eyewitness.
She was outside the same convenience store Irvin had visited just before his death when she heard gunshots go off.
I'm actually driving downtown. I heard the shooting and seen two black males running.
Her story matched what Tommy Payne told the police, but she was actually able to see where they were heading and what vehicle they fled in.
They ran over to Solomeo and got into a black Odyssey.
The woman's able to provide a description of the vehicle, although she couldn't make out the license plate.
With this new information, detectives hope area surveillance cameras can tell them more.
When detectives follow up with the restaurant, they discover that it had several surveillance cameras mounted around the building.
The managers for the restaurant were able to provide the footage from the day in question.
Like the caller reported, the video shows a dark van parked outside the restaurant shortly before the shooting.
Two individuals in dark clothing with hoods on exit the van.
Then the two men head off in the direction of the crime scene.
The two men begin jogging like they're in a hurry. And then they exit the view of the camera.
They aren't out of view for long.
Approximately a minute goes by, and these two individuals appear again.
The men re-enter the frame in a dead sprint back towards their vehicle, holding what police believe to be guns.
They are seen entering into this Honda Odyssey and driving away quickly from the restaurant.
The investigators are convinced these are the two men who killed Irvin.
But is one of them Keith Poole?
Detective Rush.
It's not long before detectives are able to ask him face to face.
Their bolo paid off. An officer was able to take Keith into custody.
When they sat down with him and explained the situation, he seemed genuinely shocked.
Wait, what? Y'all guys think I'm involved?
What were you?
No.
Keith tells the investigators there's no way he could be one of the killers. He says he was across town playing football with his girlfriend's kids at the time of the murder.
He also insists he had no reason to want to kill Irvin.
No. Listen, yeah, we didn't get along, but that doesn't mean I want the guy dead.
Mr. Poole indicated that the prior incident between himself and Mr. Holton was blown out of proportion, that he did not bear any ill will towards Irvin.
He told them that he missed his parole check-in because he spent the night with his girlfriend the night before, and they just overslept.
An officer will be with you shortly.
But Keith could be lying. So while he sits in jail for violating his parole, detectives check his alibi.
After speaking to his friends and girlfriend, they determined there's no way he could have committed the murder that night.
They were able to cross him off the list as a suspect in this case.
It takes the wind out of your sails. I got this guy in my sights, and it turns out that you're incorrect.
Still unable to make contact with Irvin's girlfriend, Janice, detectives try another approach.
Hoping to turn up some information, they reach out to the local news media and appeal to the public for help.
The effort pays off.
Detective Snyder.
They got a call from someone claiming to be one of Irvin's friends.
He tells police they should be looking at Jana's ex-boyfriend, Patrick Hughes.
And what makes you think he might have something to do with this?
He says that Janice had started dating Irvin while Patrick was serving time in prison.
He had been arrested on a narcotics charge.
But he'd heard that Patrick is out now.
Patrick had been released from prison a few weeks earlier.
Mr. Hughes was back in the area.
He wasn't happy that Janice had started seeing someone else.
Stay tuned for more of the Fatal Attraction podcast.
The investigation into the shooting death of Irvin Holton hit a major setback when detectives learned their prime suspect, Keith Poole, had an airtight alibi for the time of the murder.
That's when a new tip comes in from one of Irvin's friends.
There's a possible connection of a scorned lover.
The caller tells police that Irvin's girlfriend, Janice Walters, previously dated a man named Patrick Hughes.
According to him, Patrick was angry that Janice had started seeing Irvin while he was in prison.
And you say he got out of prison a few weeks ago?
I'll check the data release.
Could Patrick be one of the men on the surveillance tape?
Do you know what kind of car Patrick drives? Is it a dark-colored van?
The tipster says no. However, he tells police that Jana's best friend, Melinda Owens, drives a vehicle that matches the description.
After the phone call, detectives reach out to Patrick Hughes to get him in for an interview.
They couldn't get a hold of Patrick, so they decided to look into the other lead that Irvin's friend gave them first.
They pay a visit to Melinda Owens' home to get a look at the car.
And detectives find it parked in front of her house.
It appears to be the same make and model as the one seen in the surveillance footage.
Can I help you?
Yes, ma'am. Is this your vehicle?
Yeah, what's going on?
When detectives explain, Melinda initially says that there's no way her van could be on video from that evening.
Went shopping that day, Black Friday sales. Then I came home and that was that.
No. Babe, you don't remember?
But her boyfriend, Omar Robinson, tells her she's mistaken.
I had the van that night.
Mr. Robinson says, I actually had the van in the evening hours between about 5 and 6 p.m.
He says he had used the vehicle to drive to a gas station around sundown that night.
A gas station on the opposite side of town.
Yeah, he's right. I just forgot.
Alarm bells immediately start to go off for the detectives.
Was Melinda trying to cover for Omar by claiming she had the van all night? Or is Omar protecting her?
When you're in a relationship, you're inclined to protect your partner because that's what relationships are about.
Janice was Melinda's best friend. So was it possible that Janice had been avoiding detectives because she was involved in Irvin's murder?
Hoping to sort out the truth, detectives decide they need to talk to Melinda and Omar separately.
They confront Omar with the footage.
Let me show you some of the footage from that evening. See this van here?
He indicated to him that they had surveillance footage of the individuals who committed this murder running through the Solomeo parking lot and getting into a Honda Odyssey van, and that it was their belief that this van was the exact same van that was currently parked in Mr. Robinson's driveway.
He could tell Omar starting to get nervous.
Why don't you tell me what happened that evening?
Mr. Robinson indicates that they were mistaken about that belief and that he had nothing to do with this murder.
While detectives were suspicious of Omar, they had to check out his story before they could make an arrest.
For your time. We appreciate it.
After talking to Omar, detectives pay a visit to the gas station where he claims he was at the time of the murder.
None of the employees remember seeing Omar, and there weren't any security cameras that could prove he was there.
With nothing to back up his story, the investigators are even more convinced he's lying, but they'll need more evidence to make an arrest.
And a few days later, they catch their next break.
Patrick Hughes has been arrested on unrelated drug charges.
With Patrick in custody, investigators sit down with him for an interview.
So, did you know him at all, DJE?
Okay. Nothing about him. I know he spent records.
Patrick tells them that he hardly knew Irvin and denies playing any part in the murder.
He also denies being jealous that Irvin was dating his ex-girlfriend, Janice Walters.
Can you see somebody shooting somebody over a girl?
I can't see me shooting nobody over a girl.
But when the detectives asked him where he was on the night of the murder, Patrick doesn't have a good answer.
I might have been in the city. About 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Sometime throughout in that area. It was getting about dark around that time.
It seems like he's being deliberately vague about his whereabouts.
So we know you're in Easton. You're saying that's quite possible.
Exactly where I was doing what and what only. I can't really specify that to you.
But detectives keep pressing.
Do you know Omar?
Some of my friends?
Yeah.
Did you see Omar and all that then?
Yeah, I don't know. We were talking about 2 weeks ago.
His response raises a red flag for detectives.
When detectives spoke to Omar, he didn't mention Patrick at all, let alone possibly hanging out with him on the day of the murder.
So you're saying you did not shoot E?
I'm saying I didn't have anything to do with none of it.
If Omar did, would you tell me? Say Omar was involved, just for the sake of argument.
I'm not going to say that because I can't say that.
And again, Patrick insists he would never shoot someone over a woman.
If I wanted to get back with her, I would be talking to her. More than likely, I already slept with her. I don't want her.
With no evidence directly linking Patrick Hughes to the shooting, detectives sent him back to jail, charged only with a drug offense.
Police don't have enough to arrest either Patrick or Omar Robinson for murder.
Omar has no clear connection to Irvin at all. And Patrick insisted that he doesn't care about his ex dating Irvin. So neither man has a particularly compelling motive.
But finally, Janice Walters is back in Easton.
She was out of town visiting family for Thanksgiving when she got news of Irvin's death, and she decided to stay a few extra days.
And the reason why may give detectives their missing connection.
She was scared.
According to Janice, Patrick Hughes was obsessed with her.
We will return with more of the Fatal Attraction podcast.
Detectives investigating the murder of Irvin Holton have just discovered that his girlfriend's previous relationship with Patrick Hughes wasn't what it seemed.
Her relationship with Mr. Hughes was not a healthy relationship.
He was very possessive.
Janice said Patrick had abused her emotionally and verbally, and sometimes even physically.
I don't want to be with him by any means necessary ever. And I told him that numerous times.
And last year, when Patrick went to prison, she saw a chance to end it once and for all. But Patrick pushed back.
He continued to pursue Janice, even though it was clear that she wanted to move on.
He started calling me. I don't put any money on the phone.
So Patrick began flooding her with letters from prison.
Some of the letters are mean and nasty, and some are claiming me, and you'll see. Yeah.
Ms. Walters actually turned over all of those letters to Easton Police.
The letters make it clear Patrick was lying when he said he was over Janice.
He's not going to admit to being obsessed with this girl, but it's in the writings that he sent to her.
In these letters were professions of love. They were also filled with statements that were threatening in nature.
He felt if he couldn't have her, then no one else could.
And recently, Patrick's letters had become even more sinister.
Even after his most recent drug arrest a few days earlier, Patrick was still sending her letters from jail.
He was telling Janice that he wants to change and that he is done with shooting people and he wants to move forward with her.
When did he ever shoot anyone?
He was never charged for anything like that.
Was he referencing Irvin's murder?
So to mention shooting someone, it was almost like an unconscious confession.
Detectives will need concrete evidence to back up any suspicions.
They hope to find proof that would put both Patrick Hughes and Omar Robinson in the getaway vehicle used by the shooters, Melinda's van.
With the search warrant, police conducted a forensic search of the vehicle.
To the naked eye, it appears clean, but detectives have a theory.
When a gun is fired, chemicals are expelled in a cloud. Those chemicals can adhere to any number of surfaces,
including the hand holding the gun.
There's residue that's going to be on you and what you touch.
They swabbed the outside of the driver's door, the inside of the driver's door, as well as the steering wheel.
Detectives were right. The swabs pick up gunshot residue on the steering wheel.
Since Omar admitted he'd driven the van that night, it definitely connected him to the shooting. But it didn't implicate Patrick Hughes.
They needed something that would put Patrick with Omar on the night of the shooting.
So detectives turned to Patrick and Omar's phone records.
Whenever a cell phone is utilized, cell phones will bounce off of nearby cell towers. You can track the movement of a cellular phone as it bounces off different towers.
If you're making calls, it could tell you almost to the street where you're at.
The records clearly put Patrick and Omar in the area at the time the murder was committed.
Our two primary targets are close enough to where Irvin Holton is shot and killed that they were bouncing off the nearest cell tower.
They were in almost constant contact around the time Irvin was killed.
if you're involved in a crime with someone else. You want to make sure that we're on the same page.
Even more telling is the gap in their communications.
There's a block of time at the exact moment where the individuals are seen on camera running through the parking lot. There is no activity whatsoever on their phones. Then 10 minutes later, they pick up again. But during the time when Mr. Irvin Holton was murdered, nothing.
For detectives, it's a smoking gun.
Aside from the information from Miss Walters, the letters that they collected, aside from the video surveillance, now they've got the cell phone records, putting our two prime suspects not only in the vicinity, but communicating extensively with one another right before and right after the homicide.
But then they realize there's one problem.
The cell tower hit showed that after the shooting, Omar's phone left the scene in the opposite direction of Patrick's.
Which means Patrick Hughes wasn't in the van.
He was driving in a separate vehicle.
They know Omar was the one driving the van, which meant Patrick was not one of the gunmen. He was just the ringleader.
Omar and another individual actually did the murder.
One of the killers was still on the loose.
Will the truth be uncovered? Stay tuned for more of the Fatal Attraction Podcast.
Investigators with the Easton, Pennsylvania Police Department have used cell phone data to place their primary suspects at the scene of Irvin Holton's murder.
We've got Patrick Hughes and Omar Robinson bouncing off the nearest cell tower.
However, the cell phone records also pose a problem.
Detectives found security footage that showed the two gunmen fleeing the scene together in a van. But the phone records showed Patrick and Omar's phone leaving in different directions.
So detectives are now looking for a third accomplice.
The obvious way to identify the third man would be to get Omar or Patrick to give up the name.
But despite repeated questioning, the men never identify the other gunman.
Neither one of them rolled on the other person that was involved.
It's disappointing, but detectives are still convinced they have the man who sent Omar and the second shooter to kill Irvin Holton.
Mr. Hughes had organized this. Mr. Hughes was the mastermind behind it.
He was so obsessed with Janice that he was willing to kill to have her.
Patrick Hughes and Omar Robinson are charged with first-degree murder.
Hughes was charged on the grounds of accomplice liability. If you aid and abet somebody in committing a crime, you are just as responsible for committing it as if you pulled the trigger yourself.
And on January 12, 2017, Patrick Hughes and Omar Robinson both stand trial for the murder of Irvin Holton.
In their opening statement, prosecutors told the jury that the murder was the work of a man driven by jealousy and obsession.
Janice Walters takes the stand and describes Patrick's obsessive behavior toward her.
One of the things that we're looking at is wanting to constantly control everything and all the people around you.
So the threatening letters he'd written her from prison are read in court.
He's writing these letters even though she's very clearly disinterested.
When he got out of prison, he just picked right back up with his compulsive behaviors.
And at some point, Patrick decided that the only way to keep Janice was to eliminate her new boyfriend.
Patrick killing Irvin could have been a threat and form of control for Janice to say, watch out, this is what can happen if you are with someone else.
To help make it happen, he recruited his friend, Omar Robinson.
He's got to go. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know about this, man.
Hey, you owe me.
If he had anything over Omar, he probably really used and exploited that.
It could be as simple as he owed him some money, or maybe he was bullied into doing it.
Don't sweat it. It won't be just you, okay?
But it wouldn't be Patrick at Omar's side when he shot Irvin.
Patrick Hughes had utilized Omar Robinson and a third unknown individual to actually perpetrate the shooting.
It's hard to understand how was he able to get them to carry it out.
He was that manipulative and that good at getting people to do what he wanted.
The prosecution believes that Patrick Hughes started to recruit accomplices right after his release.
He got out of prison and was outraged that his woman was with someone else and immediately began plotting Irvin's murder.
All they needed was the perfect opportunity.
They're not sure if Patrick had been stalking Irvin, waiting on the perfect time to do this, or if they just happened on him that evening. But either way, they decided to set their plan in motion on that Black Friday.
He's walking across the street right now.
Patrick guided the gunmen straight to Irvin.
Yeah, I'm walking up now.
He was taken down by getting shot in the leg.
And then the two gunmen moved closer.
Go, please, go!
Prosecutors didn't know which man fired the fatal shot into Irvin's chest, but they knew who'd gotten them to do it.
It was clear Patrick Hughes was the reason Irvin Holton was being shot and killed.
The defense argues that the prosecution's case relies too much on hearsay, coincidence, and speculation.
The primary defense argument would create reasonable doubt, to take each piece of evidence and isolate it from the rest. Try and say that they don't all add up to anything.
But the jury disagrees.
When you see how each piece of evidence connects to the other piece of evidence, you see beyond a reasonable doubt the guilt of these two people.
And after just 2 days of deliberation, Patrick Hughes and Omar Robinson are both found guilty of first-degree murder.
They were both sentenced to life in prison without parole. They will stay in prison until the day they die.
The second gunman, however, is still at large.
There's one person that's out there that was involved in this thing that's still walking around.
Police haven't given up on bringing that individual to justice.
But even bringing the third man to justice won't make up for what they took from Irvin's family, friends, and community.
Irvin was a single dad raising his daughter alone. But she was already in a situation where she wasn't being raised by her mother, and now she loses her father to such tragedy.
Even though the case is over, even though justice was achieved and people were held responsible, it still doesn't bring back the victim.
With unwavering determination, detectives diligently unraveled the heartbreaking details of this tragedy that has left an indelible mark on a family and a community. Irvin D.J.E. Holton was not only a devoted father, but also a beacon of inspiration for many. The senseless act of violence took away a man who was deeply needed in the lives of his loved ones and cherished by everyone who knew him. The memory of Irvin D.J.E. Holton will forever resonate in the hearts of those who loved him, reminding us of the profound impact one person can have on so many. Coming up on the next episode of the Fatal Attraction Podcast.
She was a college senior on the road to success.
She was very serious about her studies.
She was on track to become a doctor. She was about to graduate.
But when she turns up missing, it's every co-ed's nightmare.
There's a high alert on campus.
It was almost as if she had disappeared into thin air.
In a bustling college town, a bright and ambitious young woman mysteriously vanishes without a trace, leaving her friends concerned. The atmosphere is heavy with worry, and the mystery of her disappearance looms over the community like a dark cloud. What really happened? And what happens when love becomes fatal? Tune in to the next episode of the Fatal Attraction Podcast. We will see you in the next episode.